Hi, this is James with Engadget, and this is the Galaxy S3 Mini. You may remember this came out to sort of not quite as much fanfare as the Galaxy S3 full size, if you like, in this came out in October in Frankfurt. Sort of too much discussion, shall we say, given a couple of things which we shall go over now or over shortly. Just by coincidence, we do have a Galaxy S3 here too, as you can see, side by side for your convenience. Now, concentrating on the Mini, obviously, because that's what we're looking at today. This is a Android 4.1 Jelly Bean out of the box. It is a 4-inch display, unlike the 4.8-inch here on the GS3. So they're both Super AMOLED Pentile. This one is WVGA resolution, which is 480 by 800 compared to the 720 1280 that you've got here. Now inside, this is dual core 1 GHz Nova Thor. This is a quad core 1.4. So differences stacking up sort of fairly quickly. Camera around here, 5 megapixel, shoots video at 720p, and it's a VGA front facer. This guy has 8 megapixels and 1.9 around the front. Battery wise, 1500 milliamp hour, and this one 2100. So as you can see, it's not exactly the same phone, just a little bit smaller. But with the sort of initial comparisons out of the way, let's take a little tour of the phone itself. As you can see, it does kind of look a lot like the GS3. That is undeniable. The design language is almost identical, whereas there are a few subtle differences, like the location of the sensors here in the front-facing camera, size of the logo. Even you could argue the size of this amount of bezel is slightly different, and the curvature, but that would probably be more to do with the fact this phone is a bit narrower, so these corners sort of meet quicker, if you like. Down the bottom, buttons are pretty much the same. Look on the top there, it's just again the same clip to get the back cover off. Headphones on the opposite sides to each other. They've both got the volume rockers on the left hand side with the power and standby on the right hand side, both with this sort of metal look finish. And down the bottom there you have micro USB in your microphone holes. So design wise, definitely very similar. You've got a slight difference here on the back with the camera placement between the flash and the speaker here on the full size, and then for some reason they put the camera flash down below. So design wise, that would largely be the main differences. Again, if you go inside, we're going to see a few different things. For example, here the micro SD slot is easily accessible. On this fella, you've got to go under the battery to get to it. SIM slot is up here, full size SIM, and on here it's again, it's just beneath the battery there. So all in all, very similar affairs, different size batteries physically as well, so you wouldn't be able to interchange if you wanted to. But that is the main hardware tour for the Galaxy S3 Mini with the Galaxy S3 comparison. Now if we turn this on, familiar splash screen. Just take this time to sort of talk about the building quality and stuff, and if you've ever owned a Samsung phone, you'll realise this is pretty much more of the same. Sort of, it's completely plastic, feels like every other Samsung phone, definitely feels like the GS3 when you hold it. Whether you think that's a good thing or not is up to you, but we always sort of like to think that the materials might not be the sort of brushed metal and cut glass of that you'd like, but they always feel pretty sturdy and solid, which is exactly what we're seeing here. Now, as you can see, again, once you turn it on, lo and behold, it looks just like the GS3. Same sort of hold screen, lock screen, sorry, with widgets, swipe to open it, and there you go. You've got, it's unfair to say it's sluggish, maybe we're spoiled, but compared to obviously the quad core of its larger brother, you are going to start noticing a difference. Likewise, if you sort of lock it, unlock it, you know, there's a little bit of a lag there. Also, sometimes if you go into an app, let's go into the internet there, so Google, you're just doing your thing, let's open that with the browser, and then you want to go home, push the home button. It's just a slight little pause, just enough that you sort of notice it. Other than that, the software experience is unsurprisingly very, very similar. You're also worth noticing you do get some of the grown-up features, like there's S-Voice is on here somewhere, so yes, S-Voice, and a couple of the other sort of bells and whistles, like the multimedia share. So if you go into video player, if you play a video, the multitasking lets you sort of have the video on top there, like we saw. Obviously that was a bit of a novel feature on the Galaxy S3. Some reports say that this phone does have NFC, but the UK version certainly, or this model, does not. It's not there in the wireless settings, but pretty much everything else does seem to be present and correct. You've got DLNA and all that sort of thing. So overall, on the software side of things, it's probably more comparable to the GS3 than it is obviously on the hardware. So we'll go through the rest of the specification, cameras and all the rest of it in the full review, but that is the initial hardware overview of the Galaxy S3 Mini and the Galaxy S3. So if you can, there you go. Almost the same. And I'm James from Engadget.